This is Dope for Life with the Hyperview podcast. I am here today with a very special guest. We are going to be working on and have currently started working on his podcast. We're going to be talking about that today. I'm going to introduce and let him introduce himself. No other than Michael.
Yep, it's me. It's Michael Gaines. Most people know me as Big Mike. And I'm ready to get this thing started. You know what I'm saying? Add my voice out here. I've been seeing a lot of weirdos and nerds out here voicing their opinions. And I don't know. I just feel like if everybody putting their little 2 cents out there, you know, I feel like my opinion is valid and I should be able to put it out there too. So I'll be talking to the people 2 days a week. You know what I'm saying? Just letting them know how I feel. Letting them know that everybody that you see with a microphone ain't telling the real. You know what I mean? Trying to represent for real men out here. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, just trying to be authentic and tell the people how we get down out here.
That's what's up. That's what's up. And I would say Hyperview is always about expanding perspectives, right? That the more we see of other people's perspectives, the more we'll be able to understand and be able to move. Like, I'm not saying you got to agree with everybody, but if you can sit down and hear where somebody is coming from, you'll have a better chance of understanding where they're coming from. So I fully support being able to add that, like, that voice in that arena and in that capacity. I would say since you want to get into the, you know, podcasting, the YouTube, the content creation, give us some of your background, a little bit about who you are, where you come from.
Well, I'm just a regular dude. I was born here at SAC. I spent some time out in Chicago, but I graduated from high school out here, and I done lived out here in Sacramento, that is. And I've been out here for a majority of my life. I had a lot of ups and downs. I've worked jobs. I've done things that I'm not proud of, and I've done things that I am proud of. And I don't know, at the end of the day, I feel like we listen to all these superstars and all these people that we made famous, and we make it seem like the things that they have to say are more important than the regular everyday man. Like it's something special about them, but we always forget that we made them special at the end of the day. So I feel like anything that I have to say is just as important as a Cat Williams or, you know what I'm saying, anybody else out here, because at the end of the day, they put their 2 feet in they shoes the same way I do. You know what I mean?
Right. I like to say, what's my saying? They put their pants on one leg at a time, like I do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
like
I couldn't get that one out, but thank you. See, that's why you need a brother to catch you when you fall.
I just had to give him that Eddie laugh. Yeah, no, like I had a first sergeant tell me that. Like, he was like, why would I be afraid? Because he was talking in the context of like talking to like officers, and I can't remember exactly what the question was, but it was some of like, you know, is it weird for you to like work for, you know, captains and generals and stuff like that, people who outrank you, but you might have more experience than them, right? Because as a non-commissioned officer, like you got to work your way up there versus on the officer side, you get in by education and you automatically outrank everybody on the non-commissioned side. And his basic answer was, you know, he put his pants on one leg at a time. Like, God, dude, there ain't no reason for me to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm here to do my job. He's here to do his job. As long as we're both doing that competently, I ain't got nothing to worry about, you know? So I can 100% agree.
I feel like it's a thing nowadays where everybody has this false sense of, you know what I'm saying, elitism. Everybody forgets that we all breathing the same air. You know what I'm saying? We all doing the same thing.
Yeah.
It's nothing wrong with looking up to somebody or even feeling proud of yourself for doing things, but at the end of the day, we all breathe. You know, we all can contribute the same amount. We might not contribute in the same way. You know what I'm saying? But it's audience out here, somebody who want to hear everybody speak. In my opinion.
And I feel like I feel like when people be like, well, there's nobody who don't want to listen to what I got to say, I'm like, nah, you just haven't found the people who want to listen to what you have to say. Or you really got to tap in with what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
At the end of the day, this talking thing is a job. And I've worked a million jobs in my life. And one thing I know about bringing home a paycheck is they're not going to just give it to you. For the most part, they're going to make you earn it.
Right.
And if talking is the way you're gonna try to earn your paycheck, then you got to be willing to do the work to find your audience and to find the people who want to hear what you got to say. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And that's not gonna be today or tomorrow type of thing, but we'll see. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. My son inspired me, and for the most part, I seen him start something from nothing. And as much as I've always talked about having a podcast and stuff, I seen him just do it, and I'm super proud of him. And it made me want to give it a shot. So,
Right. And that's dope. I think that's look, I could toast to that because my kids inspire me to do well, and they inspire me to do more, and they make me want to be an example of what can be done, right? And a lot of times I want to do that for them, but they are that for me because kids have the essential thing that you need to be successful in spades. It's not their opportunity yet. And honestly, it's like the world beats it out of you, right? Belief, right? They believe they could do what, and like in either TV, whatever, like stops them and tells them that they can't do it or whatever the case may be. But when you are young, you naturally believe, you know what I'm saying? Until you figure out otherwise, like you don't have any reason not to believe,
yep.
you know what I mean? And it's like, as you get older, it's harder to hold on to that willingness to believe into something before you saw it or before it manifests in real life and I can put my eyes on it and analyze it and touch it. Like we lose touch of that full on like ability to like believe in something.
I feel like our generation we're taught. Like if you grew up thinking you was gonna be a basketball player or a rapper or whatever, it was once you made it out of high school,
Right.
somebody sat you down and told you, look, I see you want to play basketball, but nigga, if you don't go to school or if you ain't doing this or if you ain't going to work or whatever.
Right.
It's not like, you know what I'm saying? Like nowadays, these kids are showing us that you don't have to go to work the same way we went to work and work for somebody else. You can,
Right.
like your kid can literally be sitting in the basement and you don't know what the hell he doing, and he making more money than you in a year
Playing video games.
playing video games nowadays.
Right.
Which was a dream to us when we was coming up. You know what I'm saying? And that's them making their dreams come true, I guess. But you know, it's time for us, our generation, to start looking at these kids and learning something from them. Like, if it's possible, at least give it a shot. You know what I'm saying? The same way you'll get up and give 8 hours of your day to somebody else. You
Right.
can at least dedicate a couple hours of the day to yourself and trying to see what you can do. That's how I
Right.
look at it.
Right. No, I mean, at a minimum, like, I feel like at a minimum, you can work a full-time job and then use the rest of the time for your opportunity, right? Like, because I'm not saying everybody has the luxury to be able to delve like full-time into an entrepreneurial venture, right? Like, the meat and potato is it most of us gotta work.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I mean, especially if you live in California or any New York, you know what I'm saying, Miami, like any place where it's expensive. Like you gotta be working one, maybe two jobs.
Yeah.
I post regularly about the chick, and she's a beautiful young lady. She's I'd probably say maybe 22, 23. Like she's not super old. And she works like 3 jobs, bro. Like within the vicinity of my home, right? The places that I frequent, right? The gas station, the grocery store, and then the grocery outlet.
Man.
She works at all of them, bro.
Well,
I've seen her cash register. And I do.
Especially
I make sure I'm
beautiful.
nice to her all the time, but I'm nice to 98.999% of the people I meet, right? Like, unless otherwise. But I just, like, that just, because it didn't click. Like, you ever seen somebody, like, I don't know the girl. It's not like we know each other. It's just, like, I kept recognizing her face. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At different spots. And I was like, wait, she work here too?
That's
like,
crazy.
Damn, girl, you work here too?
Man, I say it all the time. I think about it like, to be a young, beautiful girl nowadays and to work a job, period, I commend women because
Yeah.
it is, the internet is the devil. And it is definitely telling these
pulling.
young ladies that it's a billion different ways, especially if you cute
It's pulling.
Like, trust me, son. If you still have enough sense to know that your power is not just in your body and your, you know what I'm saying, then and you work
And
the
yeah.
job, I definitely,
Yeah.
you gotta take your hats off to them kind of women. 'Cause
To
they
that
hard
point
to find
too.
nowadays.
Yeah, like to have the wherewithal to be like, yes, I would rather work 3 jobs than to like have myself on the internet shaking, dancing, gyrating. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, for likes, clicks, and money.
I
Like,
feel bad
yeah,
for men raising
yeah,
daughters nowadays.
we should
That's
give them
tough.
their flowers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can second that. Send her some roses.
Because the internet will have you believing that if you work a job nowadays, that you're beneath. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of
Right.
people with microphones that's making $40K a month that's telling people who've been working their whole life that they're not high value. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. I just feel like that kind of narrative needs to stop. At the end of the day, I feel like anybody who's out here trying, you know what I'm saying? Period.
Right.
Trying could be going to work every day. Man, trying could be a whole bunch of things, but I don't know. I just don't like I said in the beginning, that elitism. We black out here, and that don't mean that we gotta feel like we beneath nobody. But we also, like, sometimes you guys gotta take a look in the mirror and just be like, hey, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Like I see that on 2 fronts. Like there is a place in me that understands that nothing that I have makes me better than another individual, right? And nothing that somebody else has makes them better than me. But on another level, I do understand that what you do have, right, allows you to have or not have options, right? Or what you do or don't have, right? So like there is a level of, we could say, privilege, right, that comes with, or options or access that comes with having a lot of money or a status type job or being that look type dude, right? And the same way it's certain perks that come with being that type chick, right? Like it's like that. I understand both of those things are happening at the same time, right? Like that doesn't make you better than me because you have these set of options, because at the end of the day, you can have the best cards in the world. If I play mine's better than you and you don't believe in your hand as much as I believe in my hand, right? Since we sitting at the poker table, right? I can still win, right?
Yep.
I can still whoop your ass.
It's not the cards you get. It's not the cards you
It's
get.
how
It's
you
the way
play
you play
it.
the game.
So
I'm
that's
trying
the
to tell you.
equilibrium to me. It's like I can understand the realism of like there are options and there may be people who have more money or less money than me. That doesn't make me better than you just because I have those things.
Man, I heard 50 Cent say it the best. 50 Cent said, it's somebody out there who make $30K a year who live a better life than a billionaire just because they chose the right person to share their time with. And they choose the right people to share their time with.
And they were intentional about what they wanted. They got it and they're happy with it.
Yeah,
a lot of people are not intentional about what they want, i.e. they think they want money. They think they want fame. They think they want put X at the end, but really what they're looking for is connection. Really what they're looking for is to be honest with somebody. You know what I'm saying? But they're chasing these things that they think in return will give them what they're looking for, which is love or that void or whatever. And then when they get the money and they get the success, they like, oh yeah, no, that wasn't it.
Yeah.
Like,
I know a lot of people.
that wasn't it.
It's a lot of people who you could give $1 million and they still have the same issues they have. Money, I mean, don't get me wrong. I want money. I love money, just like everybody else. But at the end of the day, it's a lot of things that money can't fix. That the pursuit of money can, but it all depends on what you want it for. Like,
money is important, but time is even more important, and time well spent is even more important than time well spent with like the people you want to spend it with is even more important. So like, you know what I'm saying? Like when you really get down to it, it's not really the money that we're looking for. We're looking for enhanced experience, and we understand that money is a tool that could help us to do that, right? Because I could be happy right now, and if I had money, I'd be able to enhance that happiness with other shit that I might want or desire. But I don't need none of that stuff because I'm happy right now. But money would allow me to,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, we live in the real
enhance that
world. Like,
shit.
yeah, of course. Like,
Yeah.
if you driving Honda, I mean, you want to know what it's like to drive a
Right.
Bentley, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, if you die, if you make it all the way to the casket regretting life because you ain't make it to that Bentley, then you didn't, you know what I'm saying, you wasn't really living life, in my opinion.
I wholeheartedly don't believe if you really want, if you really want a Bentley and you believe you can get one, that you could die without getting one.
Definitely. You don't think that's a possibility?
I don't think that's possible.
If you will yourself, like, yeah, I believe that if the only thing in the world you want is a Bentley, you can, but you got to think about that, right?
It's like, how bad do you really want it?
Yeah, you got to think about how bad you
and that's
want.
what I mean
And
by,
that's
like,
my point
most
about
people
life.
don't really know what they want. You know what I'm saying? They're going after things that they say they want out loud, but if they really wanted it, they believe that they wanted it, they would be doing the things that were necessary for them to get that thing. So that's how I know, like, if somebody,
But you got to think about okay, so what's necessary? We living in 2024.
we know what's necessary.
It's a million things that, okay, so Bentley, because sometimes they throw things like Bentleys and all this
I'll
stuff
look it
out
up
here
right
to
now.
make you feel like,
How much is a Bentley?
Yeah,
what we had, like 100,000. That's got to. I want to say it's six figures.
It's
Bentley,
definitely a six figure.
It's got to be in the six figures. So let's just lowball. Let's say it's 100,000.
I'm gonna say it's more than 100,000.
I can guarantee you it's more than 100,000.
I guarantee you it's not more than 100,000.
But I would say, but I'm just gonna be real with you, bro. Less than, I would say, 20% of the population could afford.
But here's my point:
a car that's over $100,000. So I would think 100,000 is fair.
In order to get to the
Right.
Bentley, you gotta have a lifestyle for the Bentley. Are we just talking about you born? You seen a Bentley and you told yourself one day you're going to have one of those. You don't give a fuck. I mean, you don't care if you living in the projects and you pulling your Bentley. I'm talking about, are you talking about the lifestyle that goes with the Bentley?
I'm talking about if
this matters.
If what you're saying, I postulate that if somebody was like from the gutter, right? From the mud, I don't got nothing, right? And you can't see a Bentley commercial because they don't make those, right? So they would have had to.
But you'll hear a rapper talk
about one. You'll see it on the video, right? So they see it on the video.
That is the
right?
commercial.
Self-promotion from our own neighborhood. You see it on the video, and now you're like, I just want to have one of those, right? Mm-hmm. And I believe, right, just off that, if you truly wanted it, you would have to do certain things, as you said, to have a lifestyle that would afford you a Bentley.
Yeah. So, so boom, in order to get to that lifestyle, what are you willing to sacrifice? Because a lot of people make it sound like you only sacrificing time and sacrificing a good time and things of that sort.
No.
But sometimes you could be sacrificing a family. Sometimes you could be sacrificing.
No, dead ass.
You know what I'm saying?
Like,
raising your children
there
properly.
Is no.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's, to me, at the end of the day, I feel like, because this is what it really boils down to, in my opinion. I don't think when you die, God is gonna look at you and say, "Good job, son. You got that Bentley. You did it."
No,
because that ain't what God's intended for us.
No,
you know what I think God will care about once you pass away. What did you leave behind, and did you put as much into that as you did to getting that Bentley? Because the only thing we gonna leave behind when we dead is our kids. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But
you can't be a blessing if you can't even take care of yourself, or you're struggling to take care of yourself, or you're barely taking care of yourself,
disagree.
or you're right at the and I don't mean a blessing in the spiritual sense. We can all pray for each other. You know what I'm saying? We can all, send one up to the big guy for each other, but the way that he's gonna act, right, is through one of us. So like the money or whatever change you looking for, it's not gonna fall from the sky. He's gonna act through, right, one of his people. So for me,
kind of like falling from the sky. I honestly believe that, because I feel like, don't get me wrong, my son live on the other side of the country, right. So it's not like I'm gonna make it seem like, oh, I wake up every morning and this and that, but I care about mine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To the point where that's what I think about every day. I'm trying to do what I can for him. Now,
right.
How does that manifest in my day to day? You know what I'm saying? Like, I know what I grew up to, and I saw, as an example, my dad was homeless. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like I know what that did to me, and I know that I may not be a rich man, but for my son to be able to look at his dad and see that, okay, my dad is a hardworking man. He
Right.
checks up on me every day. Anything I ever need from him, he's there. Like that is, to me, that's worth more than 10 Bentleys and 2 cars and all the rest. I
Right.
mean, and 2 houses and all the rest of that stuff. Because, like, don't get me wrong, I would love for my son to be able to come and see me in a mansion and a Bentley and stuff like that. But do I feel just as well knowing that I'm not homeless because I know how deep that can get. You know, what I'm
Right. Right.
saying?
Right.
It's levels to this. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
And I want to clarify, when I say wealthy or rich, I don't really even mean it in a monetary sense, because like I feel like I'm rich. I don't have no $1 million in the bank, right? Like to me, rich is a mindset and poor is a mindset, right? Poor is passing over opportunities repeatedly, right? Like I was talking about yesterday, right? Like you have an ingenuity and a way of looking at commodity products in a way that most people like just don't understand, right? Like, and on a fundamental basis reject, right? Like if you explain to somebody like, hey, me and my friend, we're both selling candy bars. I sell them for $1. He sells them for $1.50. People will see an issue with you and your friend with the friend that sells it for $1.50. Right? Especially if you could explain to him why, hey, ain't no reason why he should be charging you $1.50. He making more than enough money in a dollar. Right? But we don't give a shit that Target and Walmart do it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like on a fundamental basis, or like on a fundamental level, we reject that from our personal friends and families because we feel like they're taking advantage of us. But then when we work with these non-entities that aren't people, we feel like, oh, that's just business, right? But you were able to cut through that and able to, you know what I'm saying, sell and do your own shit. You know what I'm saying? Because you understood supply. However y'all feel about this shit, there is supply. How much I got this motherfucker for, and how much y'all willing to pay for it. Like,
but at the end of the day, I feel like that's the reason why somebody got to talk about this. Somebody got to break people out the spell that's telling them, like, the whole, like, it's so many dumb things. There's so many stupid examples that I can show you where people feel like just because they got a Bentley versus somebody driving a Honda that start every time they turn the key, that, like, that's just silliness. You know what I'm saying? All we're doing is making Bentley rich. Somebody's got to cut through and tell these people that when you spend more on something just because you wanted to spend more on something, that's called a dumb decision.
I would say it's dumb. I feel like Bentley, that's why they don't have commercials, right? People self promote. It's a level of status that you have. It's a level of status that you feel like. I'm not saying that that's true to other people, right? People buy things for the status that they feel like it gives them, right? So if I can go into the store and get a Bentley, right, that's a reward or an accomplishment or an acknowledgement of what I've been able to accomplish in my life, right? And I don't feel like that takes away from what anybody else is able to accomplish.
See, I understand that, and I definitely get it. That's a real thing.
Because somebody's got to be there, right?
But a lot of people,
if it's not Bentley, it's another name.
But a lot of people who's driving Bentleys, I mean, I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. A lot of people who's driving Bentleys didn't earn no Bentley. The people that's the rat race they got us running in. If you really think about it, most people in Bentleys are people who have been born into it. You know what I'm saying? You got your crypto cats that came up, but these are not people who came from where you and me came from,
right?
And now they got a Bentley. So when you see this person pull up, everything that you just mentioned goes out the window because they didn't have to do a damn thing to get that Bentley. A lot of times. A lot of the 70% of those people, even the rappers, when you grow up and you find out that all these fools is broke,
right?
And these niggas was taking loans to floss on us,
like to keep people looking.
It's the rat race. It's time for us to wake up and realize, like, they've been trying, like, that's the biggest mindfuck of them all. The coolest niggas in the world was rappers when I was growing up. When you grow up and find out that Method Man, Redman, DMX, all these niggas ain't got no money. They ain't had no money this whole time.
They still working, trying to do commercials, and
That's why I love Redman, because Redman never tried to play it off like he did. You know what I'm saying?
He was like, hey, bro, we trying to get these movies. We still trying to get these dollars, which I'm
but
sure
they taking loans. Just think about how much they think about it.
I don't think it's nothing wrong with taking loans. I love spending other people's money.
Imagine.
I love spending other people's money.
Don't get me wrong. When you ain't got no money and it's a blessing for somebody to trust you enough to give you a loan.
I will give it to you right now.
But I'm talking about as a rapper.
I'm
multi-platinum rapper.
Bruh, I'm telling you
taking
right
loans
now.
And then only getting less than a penny off of his record.
Yes, bruh. Look. I'm not even playing right now. Look. If you are a rapper and you have money in the bank, right? One, is a bank giving you money, right? If you don't have any assets. Meaning you don't have nothing that they could take as collateral if you default on that loan. No, right? So that means they got to have something. They got to have some kind of money in the bank or whatever. So they're leveraging the money that they've been able to make, right? For the bank to give them more money. Because guess what other people are doing? They're taking the little bit of pennies that they made and they're shoving it in the bank. See, that
sounds fair if when we say, okay, I'm going to give you a loan. But it's based on how much records you sell, and every record you sell is
not going. No. They already did that with the record label. They already did. That's what I'm saying. They're leveraging the actual capital they have. Now, yes, there are some banks, and depending upon how big of an artist, there's a lot of stuff that go into it because it's not just somebody sitting there. It's underwriting, right? People are like figuring out how much risk there is, and at the end of the day, the bank doesn't want to lose money. Their job is to make money, right? They don't want to lose money. So at the end of the day, yes, they may take like future record sales or maybe like an advance if you got it on a contract. But realistically, they want to know how much money is you sitting on and how many assets do you have? What kind of houses do you have? What kind of property do you own? So that if you do default on whatever kind of amount of money we loaned you, we can get our money back plus interest. Not just the money we gave you, money plus interest. So if I'm a rapper and I get, let's say, a $500,000 loan, you best believe I got $1 million to $1.5 million of assets sitting somewhere, right? That I was if not $1.5 million, I have $1.5 million of income revenue that I'm able to prove from the last year of income streams, right? So why would I spend $500,000 of my own dollars when I only have $1.5 million of income when the bank will give me $500,000? And let's say, because they're giving me $500,000, they'll take that at 1.5 or 2%, right? Because 2% of $100,000 is $2,000, right? Every month that they're getting to put on top of that. So now, let's say that's what I got, $100,000 for them. If they give me, or $500,000, the loan repayment on that is going to be somewhere in the tens of thousands, right? So now all I got to do is make more than $10,000, and I'm making money now off of money that is adding the profits back to my bank, my 1.5 that I got, and I'm giving the bank back theirs, right? So that's why I say you could leverage a loan. I wouldn't spend my own money even if I was getting a bag from doing tours and shit like that.
But okay, so we talking about a rapper, or we talking about a regular person going to a bank and getting a loan? Because a regular person going to
going to the bank to get a loan could do the same thing. It's just, do you have access to the information that's going to actually be able to let you leverage using that money towards making a profit, right? Like most niggas go out and they get a loan and they go buy a liability. Yeah. Right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they'll go buy a car, but then that car is just to get them from A to B, and they got a job that is enough to pay for the car. You know what I'm saying? And they're not using that car to generate any revenue outside of going to work, right? So yes, any person can go up to a bank and use credit in that way. It's just by the time you figure that out, or somebody sits in front of you and tells you how to use credit, you done fucked it up so bad, right? That now I got to work just to get back to square one so that I could get a...
Man, you telling me,
bro?
I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. As a grown ass man, I didn't get my first credit card until probably like 2 years ago, and I'm almost 40. You know what I'm saying? But it's... Nobody teaches you these things. Like, we send our kids to school for what, 8, all these years, 13 years, and they come out on the other end knowing nothing about nothing, damn near, except for 1 plus, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
These are things that, like, everything I know, I taught myself. Like, if you're a good parent is teaching their kid while in high school about. This is what I mean about while a
I
lot of
try.
people
They really
focusing
don't
on
care,
getting
bro.
Bentleys. Yeah, I get they don't care, but it
Like
was a lot of things we didn't care
yeah.
about that they
But
made
I'm gonna
us
put it
care
in their
about.
head though.
Yeah,
Like
you
we
know what
gonna
I'm
keep having
saying?
conversations about
If
it.
nothing else, get them a credit card and they like instead of doing what other parents would do and screwing their credit
Messing
up,
these Johns up.
yeah,
Yeah.
make it good for them. So then by the time like giving them a head start, what I'm trying to tell you is this road is so tough that while everybody worried about Bentleys and stuff like that, what's more important than a Bentley is getting your kids on the path of knowing because not having to bump their heads on the same rocks that you bumped your heads on coming up. Whatever road that you did run into, whatever blockades that you ran into, it's your job to try to clear that out for them. At the same time, keeping them aware that these things are out there, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? And not never letting them know that it's not like this, that like the world ain't real, you know what
Right.
I'm saying? It's a real world out here with a lot of lion, tigers, and bears, you know what I'm saying? You got to make sure they know that you keeping them safe from those things while you here, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they ready to do the same for theirs as they come up. A lot of the work that we put in material things, man, is what I be looking at. Like it got to a point where the older you get, the more you look at it like it's all just trash anyway. Once you get a Bentley, it's
on its way
2024.
it's on its way to getting to be trash.
Most of it is. As soon as you buy it in 24 in 2-3 years, it's already an old car. You want the new one. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's a rat race. It's not even something that a billionaire would keep doing. You, like I said, the thing about watching these rappers now and listening to their stories 20 years later is when they tell you about all the dumb shit they did with their money. You know
Yeah, right.
Like all that stuff that we was looking at and thought, oh, it's so cool, it's so cool. If you really listen to them now, they'll tell you like, nah, that wasn't cool. That was a bad investment.
Right.
I don't even buy cars no more. I lease them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm only doing that because the smart ones will tell you, man, I'm still driving a F-150, man. I don't care what you niggas think about Killer Mike. That fool was like, man, I drive a van. I don't care what niggas know.
But he got cars.
He got cars.
He got cars.
Now?
Yeah.
When he can afford it, but you know, a lot of people don't make it.
When he can afford it.
A lot of people don't make it to the when they can afford it because they trying to show that they got it now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, they think that means something about them. And
you just said what it means. You walk into a room and I just heard somebody say a person will listen to somebody with gold on and a ring on. They're going to pay more attention to them than they would somebody without it just because whatever he did to get that gold. Nigga, you don't know. He could be borrowing that from his brother. But that's the goofy. Like if somebody thinks if that's a culture. Of
that's somebody telling you that's somebody telling you to just understand human behavior. Like that's just humans. You know what I'm saying? And that's not just today. Even back in the day, if a nigga came in swagged up with the rings and the crown, niggas was listening. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and there's a level of, I feel like, bias that we have that we give with our eyes, depending upon the culture you live in, how you was built. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, then there's some your own individual reteaching in the whole nine, but there's a level of, no matter what culture, how you spin it, even when you're talking about like the ultra reverse of like religiosity and the monks and the whole, like if you come in looking a certain way, they're going, you know what I'm saying? Like, so It's like, I think that's just human beings. And then you have to learn how to understand that bias and like,
I definitely
know you have it and then not act upon it in every circumstance.
But
because it does serve you in some places.
Like you're right. It's human nature to see something clean versus something dirty and then pay more
and associate it like
clean.
You know what I mean, certain things with that. Like I was saying with the $10,000 fridge versus the $1,000 fridge. That's just like, that's how our mind works. We ain't even seen the fridge, but you assume the $10,000 fridge is better.
But it's like I said, it's a flawed way of thinking, in my opinion.
100%.
Like once you get to the nitty gritty of it, and then the mere fact that people encourage it, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong. I could just be talking from a broke nigga perspective. Like, Don't get me wrong. I feel like I'm rich too. And,
No, that
man, I live by myself. I got a
Right.
couple.
You
Like
take
I got
care of
some
yourself.
stuff. You know what I'm saying?
I get the
don't
shit
feel
I
like
want when I want it.
I do what I want to do. I don't.
Right.
So I don't consider myself to be broke. But if we talking about in comparison to,
But that's the thing. I don't feel like it's never in comparison, right? I was saying, there is a realism to an understanding that if you have more money, you just have more options. You could do more shit, right?
But I don't
But that
understand-
doesn't make you necessarily better than me in my situation. Cause comparatively, I can't compare. I don't know where you started. I don't know what you were given. I don't know what you weren't given. I don't know how long you've been working on what you've been working on. I don't know how long you've been locked in. I don't know who helped you. Like, we can't comparatively compare our results. You know, like, there's no way for me to do it. So I can't say that, oh, because this dude has X, Y, and Z and we're even the same age. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there ain't no way to compare. So to me, that doesn't even like come into my mind.
So that's my
like,
whole point. What's the
we-
point in the comparison? At
Yeah.
the end of the day, like, I just feel like encouraging.
I just want
Like,
people
I
to
just don't-
succeed. Nobody doesn't want money. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you don't want money. It's just like you are okay with what you have, but that doesn't negate that you do want money.
I heard a young lady talk about the racism of low expectations, or what did she call it?
Yes. That's a good one.
I can't remember exactly how she phrased it, but somebody asked the young lady about if she would date a bus driver, and she was like, "Well, I want them to want more for themselves." And she got to talking all this hot shit about AI and how it's about to take over anyway. But in this bitch
That's
is a
cool for
lawyer,
her.
and then you find out that, well, AI is about to take lawyers' jobs too.
That's
so,
cool for her.
huh?
That's cool for her.
Like,
I don't understand what's wrong with being a bus driver or any other blue collar job or any job that you have.
That's
like I
but
said,
that's
like,
what I mean when I say.
and it's nothing wrong with just being a bus driver. Like, you don't have to be a bus driver and something on the side, a bus driver and be an entrepreneur trying to follow your dream. Like, you could just be there's nothing wrong with
Them niggas make
just
money.
being
I
a
know
bus
bus
driver.
drivers. Them
There's nothing
niggas
wrong
ain't
with
broke.
just
They
being a
doing
trash
good.
man. There's nothing wrong with just, you know what I'm saying? Like
I mean,
then
but-
doing your best at that job and moving up within the company. I think you should have ambition about yourself. You shouldn't be cool with staying at the same place you've been at for years and years and years,
I
right? The
feel
same
like-
level and position.
I feel like when it comes to relationships nowadays, like, love ain't even a thing no more. Like it sounds silly even saying it out loud. Like, well, what about if you love this nigga? Like, you can't even love nobody no
Wow.
more. You care so much. Like, but don't get me wrong.
That's a good one.
It's on the
Everything's
men do it too.
transactional.
Well, like, men are
It's just more apparent nowadays.
men want to believe in love now more. Like, it was flipped. It was a time where it was a love was a woman thing, but nobody, men, see, this whole red pill thing kills me because nobody ever talks about the time where things were flipped and women was doing what men was expecting of them.
Right.
Because when that was happening, we was talking about it ain't no fun unless the homie can have none, and pop that pussy, pop that pussy. Like, it was like
Push and
things.
plate.
When everything was going in one direction, we was taking advantage of it. So
Right.
you almost can't blame women for not even believing in love no more. You know what I'm saying? But
And being
if
like,
love
look,
is
let
not
me
a
just
real
get on
thing
y'all
no
game.
more, this is a tough world to live in if love is like just a myth now.
Well, I don't think
Like, very-
love necessarily means that you have to lower your standards per se. I feel like love is how you set your standard. Yeah, I'll take a little bit of schmidgen. Love is how you set your standard. Like, I feel like on both sides. I was just telling Naya this today. I was like, man will say, right, most men will be like, I don't think a woman should date based off of like how much a man makes or like, you know, what kind of job he has. But then we'll tell their daughters not to date a broke dude.
I don't know. I got
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. I always look at it like this. I feel like when talking, instructing, like, I got a niece. I tell my niece all the time, when you dealing with a dude, make sure he cares and respects you. To me, that's most important. Cause you gotta have enough faith in yourself to know that you're not just gonna fall for some bum lazy ass nigga. I'm not giving an excuse to being a bum or being lazy. But I tell you one thing that will light a fire under a man's ass quicker than anything else, and that's a woman. If a woman,
Facts.
I'm telling you right
Facts.
now,
Big facts.
any positive move I made, anything that I thought was okay in my life,
Big
it was a
facts.
woman who taught me like, nah, that shit ain't
Right.
okay no more. I gotta step my game up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's what they mean when they say a woman is supposed to be a helpmate to a man. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like, oh, a man to do, if a man loves a woman, a man to do anything for a woman. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know, but when we get into all of that relationship, like, that's the type of stuff that I want to talk about on my podcast. Like, not just relationships, like I want to touch on day-to-day things, like, you know what I'm saying, not business, financial. If I hear anything that's coming up, jobs, local jobs for the youth here in Sacramento, like, I just want to get involved. I want to, you know what I'm saying, I just want to get out here and, like, you know what I'm saying, just do the best I can.
Get a G for the G.
You
Get a game
know what I mean?
for those who need to be given. No, I wholeheartedly think that it's important to have these conversations. And I feel like I would always think, like, when I started my podcast, I was like, bro, there's so many, or before I started my podcast, I'd be like, there's so many times, like, we were having a conversation, or like I'd be having a conversation with a friend, or I'd be on a phone call and I'd be like, bro, if I could just record this, if I like had this John, because I'd be cooking sometimes, like,
Man, rest in peace to my brother Vic, man.
Bro, straight up.
I think about how many times we would sit in the front room and talk.
R.I.P.
and have
brother.
Just a regular
Just convos.
conversation would feel like
We done had some Johns, bro.
yeah, you know what I'm saying. Like
Some
we need
Johns.
to have people need to be involved in this. You know what I'm saying?
No, straight up.
And it's like I said, we pay so much attention to these people that we made famous. Like they're not famous without us. So our voice is just as important as theirs at the end of the day.
The only thing I will say, right, is, and I try to give it where it needs to be given. They had to start it. They had to believe in it. They had to believe in it enough to do it, and they had to put it out, right?
Yeah.
And they had to, like, it's like the gamble, right? Like they had to put it out with the understanding that this shit might flop. Nobody might never watch this shit, but
What you think? Do you think they be partying with Diddy? You think that's a real thing?
who be partying with Diddy?
A lot of these,
Or just they?
I'm just, you put some names
'Cause
on
I
it.
for
I don't know
sure-
none of these niggas. I don't care.
Because I for sure think they be partying with Diddy, because Diddy is not partying by himself.
He's not
You know what I
partying.
mean? That for sure. He's not partying by himself. We
So
know that
that's my
for
point.
sure. That is
So-
not an allegation that has been levied against him.
That's another point that I got too. Like when people say sacrifice for the Bentley, like how much are you really willing to sacrifice for the status that you want so bad? What makes you want to be in that club?
So let
Like
me.
that club is nasty.
It's not even that it's nasty. I'll put it like this, right? It's not so much the Bentley, right? I feel like, as I keep trying to restate to others and to myself, money is a direct correlation and a result of your ability to create value for other people, right?
But it don't turn into that. You know what I've learned? A lot of the people that I know with real money, it's not like they making all of this money to make a change in the world.
No,
Once you get to a
that's-
certain amount
no,
of money,
don't. Value
it's
is not
about
just change.
you.
No,
It's
nah.
just-
bruh.
I
There's
feel
nobody.
like
There's
once
nobody that's
you
making
hit a
money
certain amount of money,
that's making money
only
just
thing
off
you
of
can
them.
care about is you and yours.
Nope. I feel like that is a flawed principle. And the only reason that I'm saying that does not work, bruh, is because, one, yes, I feel like there's a lot of followers and there's a lot of sheeple, but people ain't that intuitively dumb, right? When people buy something, they want to know that what I'm spending is, and what I'm spending is worth what I'm getting, if not more so, right? Like if we don't want an equivalent exchange, we want a deal on our side. Nobody is going in signing up saying, I would love to pay you more than what this is worth. Never happens, right? So like,
Yeah, it does.
who, where?
Music.
Mike, But these are super fans, right? That you're talking about, like people wanted to donate shit and the whole nine.
That's all.
That's how.
That's all a person that'll spend a $1,200 on a cell phone that'll do the same thing for that a $300 phone to do. That's all you are is a fucking super fan. Like
I'm
you don't get
Halloween.
it. You don't think so?
You
like
correct. No.
I'm just saying.
You're correct. But you're validating.
That's all you are.
But you're validating my point, bro. You're a valid. So again, somebody's got to do it, right? There is a person, and not just a person. There are many people, right? And let's just take the example of the cell phones, right? Apple versus any other phone, like you know what I'm saying? Because the price range ain't even close. Right, even the Samsungs, they're kind of close, but I'd say it's like a $200 to $300 difference.
Not even close.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm saying as far as like retail price of the phones without the John, I think it's like $200 or $300 difference, if not maybe a little bit more. But there's a significant difference in price, and we know it's not. They both get the same stuff from China. They both make their phones with the same type of materials. Like, yeah, you might have some Gorilla Glass,
but
versus
iPhone's
Gorilla
got
Glue,
titanium now,
right? Yeah. So, Mike, what I'm saying is, Apple has been able to create, disseminate, and get people to believe in a story in which if I have this phone, it allows me to have certain things and have a certain level of status, right? And not so much that they just got people to believe in it, but they buy the phone and they fulfill that promise, if not over fulfill.
Do they?
I'm not saying that the high rate of recidivism, i.e. people who go back and buy more iPhones, says that. Not me. I'm not saying this for my personal opinion. I'm talking about the realism of the brand.
It's a trap.
It's a trap that works. That's all I'm saying. I can't stop Apple from doing what they're doing. I can't stop Apple from doing what they're doing. What I can do is look at it, study it, and figure out how can I work this for my purposes.
I feel like yes, I feel like it's a trap, and I feel like it's a trap. I feel like it's time that people. I mean, I can't be the only person who feels this way, and I feel like instead of trying to figure out how to trap other people, I feel like it's time that people start waking people up to the trap, and we stop being trapped and start doing the better shit.
But I don't understand how that's okay. The only way for me to get rich is for people to pay me money, right? In some kind of capacity or not, right? So, and let's just say Apple is a trap, right? Apple's a trap, and they somehow do not fulfill or deliver on their promise and their vision of what they want me to believe I will have from getting this product. If we do it, right, and we do it better, we can still charge the premium, right? And we don't even got to charge the premium. We can come in $200 under, right? Because we still eating like hotcakes. But then you fulfill the vision. And that's all I be trying to say is like, I don't want people to think, oh, it's a trap, so I'm never going to do that type of thing.
I'm going to take an example, right? Tariq Nasheed, you ever hear of him?
To who, where?
Tariq Nasheed.
Nasheed?
He makes the Hidden Color videos. You ever hear Hidden Color?
Yes.
I was about to say, if not, stay woke, brother. Wake yourself up. It's a lot of gaming and videos.
No, I've seen it.
I remember me and my buddy, the first time he showed it to me, he broke it to me, and we had a conversation about, because I remember he was charging some obscene amount for the video, and it wasn't available for free. And I don't know, it was the beginning of the YouTube. I was just so used to getting shit for free that I was just like, why is this nigga charging so much for these videos?
Right.
It's really ours anyway, right? And my nigga looked at me, and he was coming from the same perspective as you. He goes, well, why you don't want to pay him? And I'm like, well, nigga, why are you charging people so much for their information? Like, this is information for the people.
Right, correct.
This is shit that it was so deep that it changed. Like, you got to understand that woke shit. The way
you looked at it. But how?
Let me show you how deep.
Much is that worth to you though? And that's what I'll be saying.
But how do you charge your people for it? Like, what? Don't get me wrong.
Because niggas gotta eat.
Don't get me wrong.
Niggas gotta eat. Even in the Bible, the only niggas that didn't have to work for their food were the priests, and that was because they had to have, like, they had the 10th. That's what the whole 10th was about, right? Let me say this. So, like, everybody's gotta be able to exchange their innate gifts and things that they have to be able to eat.
I don't think that he shouldn't have ate, right? But I just look at it like, to me, man, this money thing they call it the root of all evil for a reason.
If it wasn't money, it'd be something else.
Because I look at it like this. Okay, you got this thing. It can save the world. You got it, and you got it infinitely. You can change everything, right? Are you gonna now? People are gonna fuck with you regardless.
That's not
if you
true.
get 50 cents from every person in the world. No, you got it.
You got it. Okay.
You got the magic
Correct.
ball,
And you're gonna get 50
and you
cents
can make
from every
infinite
person
of them
in the
from
world.
everybody.
Why would you charge them $1.50?
Why would you charge them 700?
Because if I price right, if I price based on what people feel like it should be, right, or what they feel like should
What
be
if
enough
they
money.
need it, though?
That's what I'm saying. If they feel like what's enough money for me, right? If I price like that, what's to say it shouldn't be free? They need it. If I'm pricing based off what people think should be enough money for me, right? Why should I sell it in the first place? I should just give it away. And now I'm going hungry and everybody has what they need.
Because you will go hungry. But why go hungry when you don't have
So
to?
that's what I'm saying. What's the difference between 50 cents? That's arbitrary. $1, that's arbitrary. $1.50, that's arbitrary.
Okay.
Or I could price based on the value of it to you. How much do you want this? And what kind of result, right, is it going to give to you? And how much is that result worth to you?
Now we're going to talk about, now we're not talking about magic balls. Now we're talking about medicine.
Right.
Because this is what they do to us in the pharmaceutical field. And this is the reason why I'm just saying, like, that mindset that you got, I understand from a person who wants to make a lot of money, right? But I just, from a person,
how does that break down?
I look,
right?
okay, so boom, pharmaceuticals.
Right.
You got the cure to AIDS.
Yep.
Now,
how did that cure come about? Because it wasn't made in a basement.
Now here's
Here's
the thing that most people don't know, and listen clearly. 9 times out of 10, that cure from AIDS came from taxpayer money. So our research, we already paid for this cure.
But somebody had to pay for it.
Huh?
Somebody had to pay for it. So the government shelled out some money to some
but it came from our pockets.
Right, to do
from
research.
Our pockets.
Correct, yep.
All this research, in order for you to get this cure,
right,
you had to get it from the people.
You had to get some money, right? And then they had to spend their time and their energy researching this cancer and dedicating their life to solving this problem. Because we could throw as much money as we wanted it, bro. We could throw as much money as we wanted it. That does not mean it's going. We could throw it in a vault somewhere and just keep piling it up. Nothing's going to happen about cancer. Mm-hmm. Unless somebody sits down and does the work, right? So somebody has got to do.
Now you did the work, and now you've done it, and now you have a pill that boom.
Yes,
now you got the option to either sell this pill, and everybody who has cancer, which is everybody in the fucking world who don't have it, are they gonna get it? Everybody dies from some sort of cancer, unless they get shot or hit by a bus.
Yep.
So you got the pill. You know for a fact that if you sell it for 10 cents. You'll never be broke.
Nope.
But you want to be a kabillionaire.
Nope.
You want to be able to have enough money that when you stack it, you can stand on top of it and shake hands with God. And that's where that mentality turns into. Motherfuckers don't even want to be millionaires no more. They want to be 100 billionaires. Trillionaires. Like that's a problem. That is a what is it? Addiction.
I think there is.
You know what I'm saying?
I think there is.
If you know you have something that can save lives and you like, ooh, that means I can charge more money. If that's a thought process that people have, like, I don't know. I just feel like I watched a kid on the Breakfast Club, D1, and he was making a lot of sense. You know what I'm saying? I recommend people go and look at it. I'm also going to tell y'all my son's YouTube.
We'll drop it in the link.
Yeah, we definitely going to drop that in the link. Check it out. Play it for your kids. It's dope. I'm super proud of him. But this kid was like, the more I talk about this, the more I feel like I'm feeling them. It's got to be a movement. Like, it's got to be a resurgence of people who are willing to try to break the spell that we're under. Like, it's a spell to me. Like, for people to think, like, we willing to lose lives over money, and money is not a thing that comes from God.
And that's what I don't think that I don't think that money is the end goal, right? Like I said, money is a result of providing value, right? And the more you try to fight that and the more you try to run away from that, the more issue you're going to have with money, right? Money is just a tool. Now, there are bad people who have a lot of money, not saying that, but you have to understand that the only way they got that money was providing, unless they did it by illegal means.
That's not
Unless
true.
they did it by Michael, we might not think it was valuable to somebody, but somebody thought it was valuable enough to take the money out of their pockets that they either worked a job for,
There's
did an
rich people
entrepreneur
who've
job.
stolen money.
No, and that's why I said unless it's by illegal means, right? Unless it's by illegal means.
You can legally steal stuff when you got enough power and influence.
I mean, if you think that it's really a majority of niggas who have money that are running, no, I'm not. And maybe you're talking about like the 1% of like niggas who got like trillions.
That's the people we talking about. That's the people with the money.
Who I'm talking. I'm not talking about those people because I don't really associate with those people. Okay. I can't do nothing about those people. And if they let's play a thought experiment. One, I don't really believe they exist. Like as a like the 1%, right? In the way that people think that they exist.
Jeffrey Epstein had a whole island full of naked bitches, and when he went to jail, they let him go in on the weekends.
I'm saying I don't believe they exist. I don't believe they exist in the way that people think they exist, as far as like it's this conglomerate of people who are meeting in shady rooms doing this weird stuff. No, I believe that's just human nature. If you have power, you want to keep it, right? So like if I've gotten to this place where I'm a part of this illustrious 1% of people who have money, and I understand the thought process that as long as we keep this 99%, right, fighting amongst each other for that other 1%, we'll always have that 99. No, that's what I'm saying. I 100% believe that that's just a human nature thing. You don't have to be evil to let that just play out. Like, just think about that, Mike. You're part of the 1%.
You don't think?
Part of it. This thought.
Can I tell you a theory I have?
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that you even bring this up because this is a theory that I've had for some time. Okay, it was a time where we woke up to that shit.
Right.
The 1%, and it was 1% of the country. What? More than 99% of the rest of the country.
Yeah.
And it was people protesting that for a long time. You remember when them people was standing outside?
Protest Wall Street.
Yeah.
All that.
It was a big deal.
Occupy Wall Street. That's what it was.
Occupy
Wall Street.
And it was a real big movement. This was the first time. This was before you had. And let me tell you, this is what I mean when you say that you don't think you have to be evil to keep that plan going. It just goes. No, this is an orchestrated plan. Because when we was talking 99%,
I definitely think there are some people who are intentional about making sure that keeps going.
I'm telling you about how
it would be counter to their own goals for it not to continue.
Bro, when they were talking about 99%, the press talked about them like they were just hippies and they were just out there and nobody knows what they want. They're not even organized. Ooh. You know how they bust that shit up? Oh, you're not 99%. You guys are Mexicans, and there's a border crisis, and we're coming after you guys. But while we come after you guys, we come after you guys, we're also gonna shoot at these niggas in the streets, and then, because you guys ain't gonna give a fuck about that, and y'all not gonna give a fuck about that, so. That's how we're gonna split y'all up.
Right.
And then, okay, the Indians, they're terrorists. Nobody can trust them.
Right.
So that's how we're gonna split you niggas up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then the Asians don't fuck with nobody no way. So
no, and that's what I mean. Like it's as long as we're fighting each other, we'll never be able to
it's a reason
understand
why
our collective bargaining power or purchasing power or any of that, right? Like
when I tell you the media, people need to pay attention to how strong the media is. Because when they started showing us black people getting killed in the streets, it wasn't like that just started happening when they started showing it to us. Just like COVID didn't just pop up when they started telling us about it.
Right.
And now you don't got to wear a mask just because they stopped telling you to wear a mask and shit. Y'all got to start paying attention to how strong media is and how it's controlling your mind. That is another thing that people got to start paying close attention to, because these people on the news get up here and they'll tell you anything. And anybody who got half a brain will think about what that whole COVID shit look like and know that a lot of the shit they be telling us is garbage. You know what I'm saying? And think about why, because Trump is getting ready to be our next president. That's about to happen.
I didn't have some people tell me they was voting for him that I would
I promise you,
never
when he becomes the
that
president,
they would say that they would have voted for Trump.
I promise you, yeah.
I've had people telling me that they are going to vote for him that I would have never thought would have said that they would have voted for Trump.
I don't blame them. Don't get me wrong. I don't vote.
Right.
I believe it's all trash. But the people, I know for a fact that when Trump was president, I was making more money, and I was just working. I work at Macy's.
He's like, and that's a fact.
But it's not like I was doing stocks or none of that shit.
Right.
It was just more money on the streets when Trump was president.
Hitting on stocks,
bruh.
Stocks, crypto.
Everybody was
hitting.
But I here's what I guarantee happens. Here's and y'all can
but
go
I'm
back
still
and watch
now.
this.
I'm still hitting right now, so don't get it twisted.
When Trump becomes president, I bet you all okay, Biden was president. They ain't told us nothing about nobody who been shot, no black people who been killed. It ain't been no big thing, right? But I promise you, every nigga that get shot when Trump becomes president, it will the
it's gonna be a big
will
deal.
Be televised.
Yes.
They're gonna tie him.
It's for sure gonna be a big deal.
And all that, and if y'all plan on protesting, I suggest that you be a little bit more updated 2024 wise and the way you go about it. Because if you think that man won't send people out there to shoot y'all up, the first time was just a practice round. If y'all go out there in them streets and get to mess around with these white boys, if Trump become president again, these are things that y'all got to think about because they're coming. That's all I'm saying. Don't let the news rile you up is all I'm trying to tell you. If you plan on making any changes, you got to be smarter than just standing out in the street and become a moving target. No, I'm sorry. Not even a moving target, because you're just standing there. You know what I'm saying? It's time for us to update. It was okay to just march in the 60s where Martin was around, and that was all that was available. But in 2024, we got to be a little bit more smarter than that. That's all I'm trying to say. Because this shit is still happening, and they just not telling us about it. Niggas die by the police every day. But I promise you, when Trump becomes president, they're going to show it to us.
We're going to hear about it every day.
We're going to hear about every nigga that gets shot by the police, because they're going to want us to antagonize him, and just to see what he does about it, because guess what that is? That feeds the news cycle.
Feeds the
and it
machine.
Also shows everybody like, oh, Republicans bad. Woo,
right.
Woo, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Nah,
but
I feel you.
These are things
like
that you got to think about. Like the news is the devil as well. But it was the first internet.
Yeah, it was the first place people would reliably go and get information.
That was the shit that you listened to.
Yeah.
You got to think about it, man. When YouTube became a thing, the world believed, like, before YouTube, everybody just had these set beliefs. The world is round. There are no aliens. You know
everything is a question now, bro. I was just talking to my kids about that.
YouTube made it that way, though.
My son is in the 7th grade. 7th grade, bro. And he already has a couple of girls that identify as lesbian, right?
Yep.
And I'm just like, how do they know? What are they doing? Holding hands? How do they know they're even like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm saying 7th grade, yes, I get it. I'm not saying that you don't have no kind of feelings but I'm just like, by 7th grade you already know?
Almost every one of my homeboys' daughters are lesbian.
And you know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to step on no toes or nothing. I'm just like, as talking to my son, you know what I mean? And then I'm like, I think back to me in the 7th grade, and I think about, bro, nobody would have said they was gay in 7th grade. Like, you might have had some mannerisms. maybe you had one or two that was like super.
If you was gay in the seventh
about
grade when
that.
we was growing up, you didn't have to tell a motherfucker. You might not have knew, but everybody else around
We
you
knew.
knew. You know what I'm saying?
But it was never like we was coming up at, well, and I don't even know, bro. I just like it just
Like,
it
gay-
didn't seem like it was so much of like it was I know I'm straight, and then maybe that was a college thing of you try it out and whatever. But even my daughter was like, no, most people are just like you try it out, you see if you like it, and then that's you see if that's what you want to do or not. And I'm like, whoa. So now it's not like, no, you shouldn't do this. Now it's like, let me see if I like it.
It's in every TV
Right?
show, every cartoon.
It's an option.
Yeah.
Like it's just another option. Like, do you like bananas or apples?
It's not just an option, it's encouraged.
Yeah.
Because in all the movies and TV shows, the person who's gay gets something special.
Yeah, something wrong.
Yeah, we
something
get
wrong
away
with you
from
if you don't if you somehow think that you shouldn't be gay. No, I don't
Yes.
want to be gay. Oh, well, something wrong with you. If you feel like you should be gay, you got to be gay and try it out. And that's the part that's kind of weird to me.
And gay
It's like
I look at it like gay is a thing. Gay's been around since man has been around. So it's not like I hate gay people or no shit like that. But at the end of the day, do I want the influence on the youngsters the way? No, because at the end of the day, when you have kids, the greatest thing about having a kid yourself is that you have left behind a legacy. Like I was saying before, contrary to everybody's beliefs, all these mansions and all what's most important in this world is is your legacy, is your children. You know what I'm saying? That's
what you doing for other people.
That's like when people be like, you can't take it with you. No,
Your kids
nigga, you supposed to
specifically,
leave
but
it to
other
the people
people,
that's
yeah.
down behind. Don't
Straight
spend
up.
it all before you die. Help these. Anyway, when your child decides that they want to be gay, that's the end of your bloodline. Like, that's a problem. And a lot of people don't want to address it. Nobody addresses it from that perspective.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
As far as like the progeny.
You got to think about it. The mere fact that you here right now today, that means somebody milked from the beginning of time. In order for you to be here, that's
trace
the
it back,
only way.
yeah.
Unless people just got dropped off from outer space at some
Right.
point in the world, your lineage
You grew
traces
from a
back
pod.
to the first people that made it
Are
on
you
this
a
earth.
pod person?
You know what I'm saying? And the second that you stop reproducing,
That's it.
that's the end of
Right.
you, the
That-
kinds of you that
That
there
line
are.
is over.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So you reproduce, and then your kid decides they want to be gay because the TV told them that that's some cool shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, gay is a thing, and it's not some shit that's ever going away. If we want it, if you like it or not, gay is always going to be here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
And that's what I was telling my daughter. I was like, I think it's been around. I think it was always prevalent. It just wasn't so outspoken, right? People wasn't talking about it, and they weren't willing to say they were. They weren't loud and proud about it. So I think that's the only thing that's different
I feel
about
like
today
what
is
fucked
that
it all
there's
up.
just more people that are willing to say that they are gay and act on it and be out with it.
what started the whole gay movement, and I used to make this argument all the time, is when they were talking about if gay people should be able to be married or not. And a lot of people may think that I think that they shouldn't, but I don't. I think that they should. I don't think that should have been a law. You know what I'm saying? The second you make it a law that gay people can't get married, then you create a force of gay ass. No, I'm sorry. LGBTQ.
Yeah.
That's what you create. You create an army. Because first things first, why there should be nothing that I'm allowed to do that no other American should not be allowed to do. As long as we are Americans and we all live in America,
Right.
Americans should all have
be able
the
to
same
exercise
rights.
your choices as long as it doesn't infringe on the rights of other people. And
Yes.
just because I don't believe in you guys getting married doesn't mean that you shouldn't have the right to you guys
Yes.
getting married. And I'm not saying I
Yes.
don't believe in y'all getting married. I'm just saying that those two
Yeah.
things don't coincide.
Yeah, like,
right?
okay, I get it. If people want to, like, you can't talk. I don't like when people talk to the Bible with me because I just be like, none of us is walking directly in the way that we supposed to be. You know what I'm saying?
Correct, right.
And we got to pray and ask forgiveness every day for
every
that.
day,
You know what I'm
right.
saying? So if
And you can go for the willfulness and the whole nine.
I can believe that God don't want people to be gay, but I also believe that God made gay people. So it's one of those things that it's like one of those.
God also doesn't want people to cuss, and God also doesn't want people to hurt
that's
each
what I'm
other.
saying.
God
It's one of those
traps.
You know what I'm
saying? Yeah.
I believe when a gay person dies, God be like, okay, you did exactly what you were supposed to do, because you might have tripped up 4 or 5 motherfuckers who was talking about they was with me, but they was too busy looking at you and not paying attention to me.
Right.
And that's the reason why
Which
I knew
exposed
they
them
wasn't
from being
rocking with me.
exposed them to
that's
being
how
fake.
I know they don't rock with me.
Right.
Now, I believe that they here for a reason.
But you were still tapping in. You were still trying to follow. You were still because I can agree on that. Where it's like I wholeheartedly agree that I think that my high power is tapped in with my effort, not my effort and my intentions, not the overall, like, I won't say result, because I mean, I think the results do matter, but I think at the end of the day, sometimes you just try your hardest, you do your best with what you have, right? And then as you gain more information, as you gain more experience, as you gain more knowledge, you may grow and become better, but that doesn't mean that you were shit before because you didn't know that. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you reconcile those two things of I'm literally doing my 100% with what I have right now. And as I get more, that 100% may grow and become better, but I'm never not giving my 100. It just may show up at different levels depending upon what I got.
That's what the whole life experience is about, gaining perspective. And as long as you open to learning new things and knowing that you don't know shit, and the second that you do learn something new, you have to be willing to change the way you think about things. I know, I'm pretty hardcore set on my perspective of life, but I could hear something on TikTok tomorrow that'll have me thinking different.
Thinking in a different way.
Yeah,
and I think that's the key to being like a successful person and a happy person, is that you're humble and you're accountable, right? Humble means I understand that I can be wrong, and that I will be wrong, right? And then accountability is I was wrong, I'm gonna do something about it, right? Like, because there's a difference between, because a lot of chicks think they humble, but then they've never been accountable. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you understand you can be wrong, but when was the last time you actually were wrong, women? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, you need both of them. You need to be able to be humble. You need to accept that, yes, I can be wrong sometimes. So you can be open to that opportunity and that eventuality. And then you need to also be accountable. Like, hold yourself to the fire. Yeah, I fucked up. Yeah, I was wrong. No, I didn't think the right way. Or, yeah, what you just said to me made more sense than what I used to think. Like, you know what I'm saying? And if more people could just do those two things, we would have a much happier and sane and cooperative world.
We live in a world now. We live in a world now where it's not about who's right or wrong. It's about who yells the loudest and says the most.
Yeah. Who can be the most triggering? Who can get the person to act outside their character? People don't even want
to hear you make a good point. If they know you're about to make a good point, they'll shut it down because they don't want it.
Because they don't want to have to even argue with it.
Yeah, they don't want. Because you're coming from I feel like you should step into a debate with, this is how I feel about something. You tell me how you feel about it. If we can listen to each other, because it's shit that I'm saying that if I feel this way, I know that it's
based on
that you're not gonna tell me everything I'm saying is wrong.
Rare, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But if you feel this way, I need to hear why you feel this way, because you may say something that makes me feel different about the way that I feel, and vice versa. But if we both don't have our minds open into understanding why we feel the way we feel, then, because at the end of the day, we may walk away from any situation still feeling the way we feel. You may feel how you feel, and I feel how I feel.
But most people are walking away feeling the same way they feel because they lack self-reflection, right? Like, we don't want to have the conversation with ourselves, let alone another person. And then when we do have them with another person, that's the first time we heard some of the shit that we think out loud. And we don't even want to acknowledge how dumb it sounds, even to us. Because in the moment, we're defending that dumbass thought. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of times I'll see, especially in our community, where it's like, maybe after a day later, or 2 days later, or whatever, somebody can come down from that angry or whatever and think about it. But even then, it doesn't change the behavior of always being reactive in those types of situations. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we have the capacity to think about it and come down. It's just whatever the knee jerk reaction is when somebody exposes a fallacy in my thought process, that means something is bad about me. And instead of thinking that it's okay and human to be wrong and error, we're not computers. Like the fact that somebody pointed out that you were wrong or somebody was able to, change your mind is a good thing, not a bad thing. You know what I mean? That means you are human. You err, and you're capable of change and growth, right?
Yep. A lot of us don't realize that we're too close to the problem to see what's wrong. I know I'm a victim of that. I'm too close to me to know what's wrong with me.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's the beauty of having friends.
And in all ways, though. Like, not even just too close to the problem in proximity. Like, I'm too close to you emotionally. I'm too attached to it. Like
I know the reasons why I am.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I know the reasons why I am who I am. So a person may point at a flaw with me.
And you've already thought an excuse that you've given.
Yeah.
And you don't call it an excuse like, this is the reason that
this is the reason why it is. Like,
me.
A reason ain't nothing but an excuse. People will tell you, oh, excuses. And when I was a kid, it used to piss me off because I used to be like, nah, nigga, you asked me why, and I'm telling you why. This is the fucking reason this is going on. But don't get me wrong, just because you have a reason, it's a lot of reasons why I am the way that I am. But don't get me wrong, that don't mean that I'm supposed to stay who I am just because of those reasons.
There you go.
Well, the second that somebody exposes, hey, this is what's wrong with you, like, I can tell you, oh, well, I grew up on my own and I ain't nobody loves me. Nobody gives a fuck because when I step out into the world, everybody still sees what's wrong with me.
It's on you.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
They don't see mommy, they don't see daddy, they don't see the brothers and sisters, none of that.
I appreciate the people around me but I appreciate, like, don't get me wrong, this is the real world. When people tell you what's wrong with you, it's not going to come with a soft hand and a kind voice. That's the reason why you need a woman. And that's what a good woman.
I think that's why we got issues because of shit. God says you should do all things in love, right? So even when I am, let's say, I won't say reprimanding, but I'm trying to give somebody guidance in what I feel like they may be stepping out or doing something wrong, or I'm identifying something in their life that this may be a limiting factor that you holding on yourself. And I mean, we do it all the time. Me and you don't always agree on the way that we think, but that's not going to stop me from thinking the way I think, you know what I mean? And in part, because to me, it's like, if you truly believe what you believe, I would hope you would fervently want me to understand what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? I would hope that you would fervently fight for your position, because if it's working for you, you think it could work. You know what I'm saying?
We just did that.
Exactly.
Like, we just opposite both spectrums of charging a premium price versus charging a reasonable price.
Right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, I don't look at you like, oh, this nigga think that and he easy. You know what I'm saying? And you don't walk away from it thinking that nigga just think that because he a bum. Right. You know what I'm saying? At the end
correct.
Of the day,
everybody has their... At the end of the day, I think the way we ended that conversation was that's why there's a McDonald's and a Carl's Jr. and a Burger King and you know what I'm saying?
And
a Ruth Chris and you know what I'm saying? Yeah, like there are myriads and there's places among the spectrum, and that's what always comes back to me is, even if it's not the Apple, even if it's not the Bentley, even if it's not these people, it would be somebody.
It's going to be
somebody. Because people are willing.
There's always going to be.
Yeah. To pay that premium for that level of experience to feel like they achieved something.
And I feel like
whether it means something to other people or not.
Like when you say our people should be the ones that's offering the premium.
Yes.
I agree with that in a sense but I just don't feel like we should be offering the premium to our people. And here's what I mean by that. When you go, I love Mexicans. I don't want nobody to think nothing other. I love Mexicans.
He said, look,
I respect their hustle and I pay attention to what they do. I don't believe that when I go to a Mexican store, the same price I pay at the counter, I could be wrong. But I honestly don't think
that's
same
definitely
price
true in Africa. Like if you go to Africa and you're shopping in the markets and you speak English, like, and I've heard this on multiple different platforms and from different people, like there are prices they will charge Americans versus like if you're native and you speak the language, they know you get a different price, which I totally, again, 100% support that.
I look at it
100% support that.
But we target our
that's
people
still the same thing. That's the
shit.
value proposition, right? Like that's proving my point of charging on value. What is this worth to you, to the person who's here every day? To be honest, it's not. I'm not saying that it's not worth as much as it is to the other guy, but to the tourists, they don't know nowhere else to go. They can't shop around. They don't know the language. And you ain't been paying me for years and years and years and years and years and years to keep this stall open because you make sure you shop with your local Joe. So I can understand why Mr. Tourist number 2 is going to get charged a premium because, again, the value is different for you. You only get for a little bit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, these plantains or whatever I'm selling you, yeah, you going to get the premium, bro.
See,
you going to get the tax, bro.
And that's my point. I feel like I respect Shaq for making this shoe
Cheap.
an affordable shoe. Like when we market a premium price,
But then what happened though?
we
about
market it to us.
What happened to Shaq's shoes, bro? Like in realistic, in
Shaq
pop
sold more
culture.
shoes than most. He's the second highest shoe seller to Michael Jordan.
But I guarantee you didn't make nearly as much money as Michael Jordan, because Michael Jordan can sell a third of the amount of shoes and he would still make more money.
Are you telling me Shaq don't got almost as much money as Michael Jordan?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying from shoes. If Michael Jordan's shoes are $200 to $300 a piece and Shaq's shoes are $30 a piece, just mathematically wise, right? He could sell one pair of shoes, Michael Jordan, and Shaq has to sell 30 pairs of shoes.
Yeah.
So just numbers wise, Jordan could sell a third of the amount of shoes and still kick the out of. So, and this is what I'm saying. There's nothing wrong with being on the lower side of the spectrum. I'm just saying there's so much more work that has to be done to be able to pull off a good product at that price point, right? And what you get for that, right, might be a little bit of money, but niggas dogged him for that. Niggas said his shoe was cheap. Nobody wanted to go buy it. It was at Payless. Niggas who got dogged who wore it, right? Because it was cheap. And I'm not saying that's right, and I'm not saying that's okay. But that's the world.
Yeah, but the only reason why the world is that way is because of propaganda. Is because that it was encouraged. We have always encouraged that mind frame. We've always encouraged that way of thinking. We encourage people to think that if somebody has on a busted pair of shoes, that they're worth less than the person with shoes with no scuffs. But what I see when I see a man with a pair of busted shoes is a hard-working nigga, a nigga who busts moves. If you got on a pair of shoes that don't got no blemishes on it, you've been in them shits all day, I see a soft man. I'm just telling you the truth. That's what I see. What could you have done that's gonna put a rigid on your hand when I shake it when your shoes ain't even got a scuff in them?
Well, my hope is that I can go every day without having any scuffs on my shoes.
But I mean, don't get me wrong. When I say a soft,
I ain't got there yet. But
I don't say a soft man. And when I say there's different kinds of people, like you said, there's different moves on the chessboard.
Right.
I'm a more rugged. I like to think of myself as a rugged type of nigga. Now, I'm not the type of nigga you can. No, I'm the type of nigga you can drop off in the woods, come back 6 days. I'm gonna have on a bear coat, nigga. It's a lot of motherfuckers, and to me, that's where worth lies in. Because before money was a thing, that's what mattered, nigga. If all of this shit is gone today, all this money shit, because it's very thin. One day we could just decide not to trust this shit.
No, and that's why I say money is a product of you creating value. Because value is really what's being traded, right? Value is really what you're looking for. Money is just the tool that we use to transact that. But before money, we still were looking for value, right? We needed a woman that could have babies, that could go out and raise them. There was men that needed to go out to hunt or that needed to be able to fight and protect. Like, you still were trading on value, whether you could hunt, fish, so whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, value was always the end goal, right?
Let me ask you a question. If you had all of infinite money, what do you think you would buy? What would be your main
What would
purchases?
I buy?
Yeah.
Honestly, I would buy companies. Like companies that I felt were profitable but undervalued, right? Like maybe
but you got infinite money.
Yeah,
I didn't say you got a
money.
certain amount of money. I'm saying,
but that
you have
right.
You
I
got a
infinite
money machine.
Yeah,
nigga. You got a money machine. You got a machine that makes money.
That makes money.
So now you have it all.
Yeah.
You got it all. What you buying?
I'm buying companies. You know why?
Why?
Because companies companies are what America is, right? The government is a company. The judges are a company. Everything is a company, right? So if I can buy companies and I have infinite money, which means I realistically have infinite buying power, like I'm going to buy specific companies that work together in specific ways so that I always, one, have leverage. Because if I buy a whole industry, right, there's other industries that depend on me. So now I'm just locked in. And then two, right, because I own companies, I can leverage and pay and hire whoever I want. Because it's not about, if I got infinite money now, it's like, how do I make sure that all my people got money? And how do I make sure everybody else is taken care of? And how do I make
I don't
sure
think you understand
that
what
people
I'm saying.
can live
You have
within
a
their
money
capacities?
machine. You have an infinite, meaning forever, not just you.
So money is worthless now.
To you,
No, yeah.
it's still a thing for everybody else.
It can't be, because if I
But
got
for
if
you-
I have an infinite money machine, everybody's gonna have money, and I'm gonna crash the market.
Nah.
And it's gonna be worthless.
This is a scenario. We living in a scenario where somehow you found a genie. You told the nigga, I want all the money in the world. He gave you a
Because
money
those are my
machine
two
anyway.
options. If I have an infinite money
That's
making
all you
machine,
can think.
because I gotta keep flooding. If I got an infinite money making machine, that money's gonna go on the market. You know, because I'm buying shit. So that, you know what I'm saying. So like either way, money becomes worthless.
My question is,
What am I gonna buy?
Yeah, my
Companies.
question is,
That's the only thing I
what
can think
is it
of.
that you will buy? And you said property.
No, companies. Yeah,
Companies
money making machines
to make more money making machines. 'Cause
No,
you got a
no,
money making machine,
no.
but you
I'm
want
saying
more
I
money.
want to buy companies that are money making machines so that I can put other people in positions to be able to do what they want to be able to do with their lives. Because everybody has a vision of where their passion is. They just may not be able to ever get the opportunity to operate within that.
So you will buy companies to give them a job?
Not so, yeah, jobs, careers, whatever, whoever, whatever. And that's why I say either way to me, the money would be end up.
But you got
Anyway, to me,
infinite
money would be
brother.
worthless.
Can I say something?
Yeah, what would you do? Because I
Okay.
feel like I'm missing the point.
It's a lot of points that you're missing. You're not even seeing them.
I'm missing the
Okay,
point.
I got infinite money.
Infinite
boom.
money.
It's all the money I could ever.
He's
And,
jiggling
and
again.
it's never going away. It's infinite, forever. Bloodline is straight. And first things first, money is only, to me, a means of buying things that are worth more than the money that you spend for it, right?
That's one way to think about it, yeah.
So, what if, or because right now money's worthless to me, I got it, and I'm never gonna not have it. So, what if money becomes not money no more? Like, what if someday, like they already talking about solar flares,
Yeah, it's only money because people believe in it.
global warming, like. Okay, so that's just if I'm thinking selfishly, right? Like, so what am I gonna do if a natural disaster happens and I gotta save me and mine? You know what I'm saying? That probably will be first on my mind, right? Because I gotta, that type
Yeah.
of shit can happen. But secondly, this is what I mean when I say we brainwashed. You got infinite money, and you'll never got to worry about money because you can print it. You can just think about it; it's gonna be there. And it's all these people that need it, and a company ain't gonna do shit.
How? That's how people get paid.
Everybody,
Every single person here is in America is paid in some way by a corporation.
That's true, but I look at it like,
And those are the people who we routinely say they rule the world. They got all the power. The people who got all the money got all the power because they got all the business and own everything.
But my thing is,
so if I go out and I
money is
buy up all
power.
these corporations, right? Because no, money is not power. Money is a tool, right? And it can give you power if wielded in the right way. Because I could have an infinite money machine and still be broke
how?
because you don't know what you're doing. Like,
Yeah, if you make the wrong decisions with the money,
even if you
But
had
even
infinite amounts of it, bro, if you never can think outside of a perspective of I should do something.
so my
just for
thing is, why
myself,
not
you
use
would
the
be
money
broke.
to empower the people?
How am I not empowering the people by buying the corporations and then putting them in charge instead of having Joe Schmo, a CEO, who's going to get $1 million because
I'ma be
he went to
honest with
Harvard?
you. If I don't need to, like, if I have infinite money, Like
I could go buy an island and start over.
Okay,
but...
Mansa Musa, the richest man ever, man ever heard of, right? This man has so much money that they say he would visit different countries and he would pass out so much gold that it would throw off the economy.
And that's what I mean by if you just had infinite money, right? Eventually, money would just become worthless because people, right? If I have infinite money, I don't have a buying price. I could just go drop 10 million on everything that I buy. Oh, I bought a candy bar, here's 10 million. I bought a car, here's 10 million. Like, you would throw the economy off, bro. Like, money by the end of like day 6 would be worthless. You know what I mean? Because the money, the economy would be over flooded with cash.
So you think about it then. You got money. You even do what Bill Cosby did, who I still think is a great man. You pay a couple psychologists. You pay some people to get in the room with you, some smart thinking brain motherfuckers to be like, okay, I have an opportunity here. I have a real opportunity here to empower my people.
Yeah.
How do we do it? You know what I'm saying?
And this is my thing. I don't feel like I have the answers for everybody because everybody wants to do their own thing. If I had infinite money, the best I can do, right? And this is why I would say this whether I had infinite money or I didn't have infinite money. The best I can do, regardless of if I have money or not, is provide opportunities, right? Like I can give you a space and the resources to accomplish what it is you say you want to accomplish. Outside of me doing it for you, right? That's all I can do. So like, what do I do to empower my people? I make sure that I have what I need to be able to empower them to have the space and the resources.
My thing is,
and that's what I mean. I already have that. Whether I buy companies and I have infinite money, or I create companies that create me infinite money.
I mean, don't get me wrong, bro.
It's the same shit.
I'm not saying that that's what you would do with the money.
Yeah.
But I just look at it like
other people would do other shit because God gave us all a different aspect of Him, right?
I just feel like it's the rat race. It never ends. If you have
not till you die.
No, my thing is infinite money, right?
Yeah.
That means the goal is always going to be money, even if you got money.
But that's only after you start as the. So this is I'm gonna go back to my original statement.
Like you can empower other motherfuckers to go on that race. You don't even need to race no more.
No, not at all.
You still want to be racing.
You gonna race regardless, and that's why money is a result of you creating value for other people. So money is not the end goal, right? Creating value for other people is the goal, and then the money is the byproduct.
Money is an obstacle, just like anything else in life.
If you see it as an obstacle, that's the kind of relationship you're gonna have with it.
Okay, I understand that.
You know what I mean?
I definitely get that. I definitely get the relationship that people have with money. It puts them on the tier of the money that they make. In the sense of
yes, how much you care about something,
how much you care,
how much intentionality you have towards.
I look at a Kevin 100%. Hart and a Cat Williams for a prime example, right?
Kevin I think Hart, Cat Williams has got a nice amount of money. Mm-hmm. He probably balling.
Cat Williams is eating because of his tours and shit. Like they can't take
ticket sales, right? Yeah, no, that's how you eat.
Cat, you know what I'm saying? But he'll never be touching Kevin Hart money.
No.
Now,
but Kevin Hart is willing to do some stuff and to be a certain kind of person that Cat Williams isn't.
But
and there are more people willing to pay the kind of dollars that get Kevin Hart that amount of money that want what Kevin Hart's willing to do than there are people who are willing to cut those kind of checks for what Cat Williams is. So me and you could see the value in Cat Williams, and me and you can love him and think he's a better comedian, but we don't have those kind of checks. And until I do got that kind of check to cut, to be able to say, hey, dude over there who want to be able to cut the $100,000 for Kevin Hart, you should be sending it to what's up, Cat Williams. I can't say that until I got that amount of money to cut.
Just dig what happened with Cat.
I can't say that.
Just dig what happened with Cat, because this happens in the music industry too. Not Cat, Kev. Kev came out, he was a funny little motherfucker in the beginning.
Yep.
Funny as shit. And then corporate interests got involved. then his comedy turned into, oh, and I saw a raccoon, and I was like, like that bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't watched him in a little bit, to be real.
Because he
got
stopped being funny.
He got a
His
little old for me about a year to 2
real
years
commercial
ago.
and all the rest of that shit.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
But that's just that's a name in a game. Like, I feel like a lot of these artists, they start to super serve their niche. They know who's watching them, and that's all they care about. They don't care about us who, like, might have liked them for whatever ancillary reason.
The only way you compromise, because to me, that is,
it's only compromising to us. His goal might have been to be the biggest comedian.
It's obviously your goal. It's obviously,
and he's making his goal.
No,
you know
but
what I mean? He's getting it.
But if your goal is to make the most money, not to be the best comedian, then you achieved your goal. But you can't stand on a platform and say you're the best comedian. And that's where the argument lies.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, yeah, nigga, you made the most money, but you stopped being funny a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? Right. And it's not because you're not a funny nigga, because we see you. When you do it, you a funny dude.
It's not being overly relatable to, I will say, to a specific.
You sold your soul.
It's definitely
like
shifted.
I mean, in the sense of, like, when they say sell your soul, I don't know if it's literal. I don't know if it's figurative. Right. All I know is I get what they mean.
When they mean that, like,
you
they
put your heart and your soul
original.
Like, let's say this podcast right now. Let's say today we do our thing, and tomorrow, like, and we keep doing our thing, and we get a nice little, like, we start doing good, and we making money, right? We making more money than we ever made before. Like, I go from living in this to, like, I'm doing good. Money's become, it's an obstacle that I've overcome.
Right.
Now money's not an issue. Anything I want to do, I can do, right?
Right.
But I can make more. And the way I can make more is by leaning in to buffoonery. Leaning in.
But that's always there.
No, but dig what I'm saying. So, but we know for a fact, due to looking at the YouTube analytics, and they're showing us, they like when y'all cuss. They like when y'all. They like when you.
But there's thousands and thousands, and I won't even say that. There's millions of videos that get uploaded every day, right? And, like, yes, some of the buffoonery breaks through. Yes, a lot. I say a lot of it. A lot. Depending upon your algorithm, what you watch, a lot.
Encouraged.
Especially on social media and a lot of the breaks through. But I will say this, right? Like, when it really comes down to your own ability, right, to be able to create wealth, it comes down to your ability to be able to believe that whatever you're trying to accomplish is accomplishable, right? So I feel like most people who look like us don't make it to the $1 million, not because we can't make $1 million, it's because we just don't believe that the world is set up in a way for us to make $1 million, when I just think that's just false. Yes, it's hard. Yes, it's not going to be all that great.
We can make $1 million,
but I believe two things at the same time.
Even the goal
it's not even a whole bunch of money. But I'm just saying, I just want to get rid of the stigma of, because you aspire to gain a lot of money, or you want to gain a lot of money, right? Or you feel like that's the kind of lifestyle I want to live, that you're somehow not tapped in with, you know what I'm saying, being holy and all that, or doing the best for humanity. Because at the end of the day, the more you have, the more options you have of being able to be philanthropic.
Yeah, but
the more options you have of being able to help people.
That's
if
true.
your thing is just to get money, then yeah, you got a problem. If your thing is, I want to be able to assist people, and you understand that I'm gonna be able to get rich as a byproduct of that, we got a better conversation.
Okay, so look, here's what happens in my opinion. Here's what I've seen in my travels, in my 40, will be 40 this year of living. A lot of people who, like you, right? Once you become a certain kind of person to achieve the goals that you're trying to achieve, right?
Period. Facts.
And then once you get in a position to achieve these goals, now you realize, you may know from here, like, I could have done all of this, but I had to assimilate to certain things in order to cross these boundaries in order to get here, right? But now I'm here, and I have the opportunity to change lives. Now that you're here, a lot of times what I see is people who want people who are willing to assimilate the same way they did. And they look at it like they don't want it bad enough because they're not willing to sacrifice what I sacrificed to be where I am. And I definitely understand that mindset.
That's
I
one
definitely
way. Yeah.
understand that mindset.
I can see where you're coming from with
okay,
that.
okay?
Yeah.
So a lot of people who, because you realize that a lot of shit that you sacrifice didn't necessarily need to be sacrificed.
There's some bumps in the road that you didn't necessarily have to take 100%.
Yes, this is just a thing that I had to do to appease the motherfuckers that was holding the keys to let me in the gates.
Right.
But now I'm the key holder. And what a lot of people don't realize is they don't even give you the keys until they realize that you're willing to hold it down, to make sure that anybody come in trying to get these keys go through the same bumps and roads that we went through in order to get these keys. So, and what people and what I look at when I see that type of person is you think that you're helping, but you're not. You're just keeping the status quo.
Right.
You understand?
You're
making it so that the people that are down here are always going to be down here. And then the one or two who are willing to step on the down heres are going to make it up here to be the nigga to make sure that the next nigga who's willing to step on the down heres be up here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's a real thing.
I feel like there's people who gatekeep for sure, that are trying to set
I've been gatekeeped
a
at
standard.
Macy's, nigga. Like it's a thing. It's one of those things where, and you could be at McDonald's. It's a thing that, it's like I said, it's time that people stop being so brainwashed. It's time that people stop assimilating to what people have told you is. And use common fucking sense at the end of the day. Like, people will look at you like because you growing your hair out, you any less capable of managing a McDonald's, nigga.
Right.
Than if you got a fade. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, that's the type of shit that I'm talking about.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or if you pull up in a Benz, then somehow what you got to say is more important than a nigga who caught the bus to work.
Right. Now,
but
I've met the whole gamut, poor to rich, and there's a whole bunch of poor smart people, and there's a lot of dumb rich people, 100%.
A lot of people
your level
who are
of
dumb
intelligence,
but smart enough to know that if I put on this facade that I am rich, if I can trick people into thinking I'm rich, I could be as dumb as I fucking want to be. Because they're always going to pay attention to me because they think I got more than I got.
I think that...
Man, I know a lot of people...
Everybody's got different stuff, right? Everybody's got a different talent. Everybody's going to be good at different things. But the thing that people who are successful have in spades, right? Whether it's intelligence, communication, or anything, is belief. You got to go out there and make the offer. You got to go out there and get on the phone. You got to go out there and go to the conference. You got to... Whatever it is that they're doing, they got to do it. And they got to believe in themselves enough to show the fuck up. So I don't know what that is, but the fact that you showed up and you show up on a consistent basis and it's working for you, bruh, kudos to you. I wish I could make money like that. Because if I diminish somebody else making money, that's me diminishing me making money. And all the hard work I have to put in to make money. And every person who's going to say once I'm making that level of money that I didn't work for it or I didn't do X, Y, and Z, so I don't deserve it. Like, to me, you can find 1,000 reasons why somebody has something that you don't, right? And why that's a bad thing. Or how they got it by luck or by some other circumstance. But for me, what really turned that thought process around for me was the transverse. What I want, if I was rich, if I made it to that point to where I got the million in the bank or the Billy, and I did it the right way, would I want all these people to look at me a certain way just because I got that amount of money in the bank? Would I want them to make an assumption about how I got what I got based on how much money I got in the bank? Because that's all 9 times out of 10. To be honest, do I want them to make that assumption? Let me ask the question. I don't give a fuck because I got the money in the bank. I don't care why they think I got my money because what's going to keep happening is I'm going to keep making money and they're going to keep making excuses about why I got it. I'm going to keep making money. They're going to keep being mad and upset that I did X, Y, and Z to get my money when they don't even know who I am. They have no idea who I am, what I've done, or how I got it. But that excuse of why I have it and they don't have it will forever keep them from having it. Because all you got to do, and this is my mind, this is how it works in my mind, right? You are making a choice. Whatever your current state in life is a reflection of the choices that you've made in your life, right? So if you want to be the dude up there, model your behavior after the dude up there. Model what you care about after the dude up there. Model what you care about after the dude up there. Because obviously those shits of what he care about and what he does got him up there. It didn't happen by act. Like, yes, there are trust fund babies. There's people who just fall into money. I get that, right? And I don't think that's the norm in America. Like, there are those that haven't, but like, there's people who also blow the fuck up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it happens all the fucking time. And I'm not saying like millions, billions, but like from broke to $100,000, from broke to I'm making $500,000 a year, that's decent money. It's not crazy money in America right now, but I feel like going from I lived in the hood to now I got a job that pays me $250,000. That's a lot of money compared to what you used to getting. You know what I mean? So people will still look at those people though. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you feel like you're better than because you got out the hood and you got to live with us. And I'm just like, to me, it's not so much about the money. The money is a byproduct of you just believing in your possibility to be able to do it. And usually that's where people stop, right? If I believe that I just want to make $100,000, I just want to really get a good job, that's probably where you're going to top out, bro. You like, because that's your goal. And once you get that job, you'll be satisfied. And again, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that, but if that's not truly what your dream is, if that's not truly what you wanted to do, God didn't give you that thought so that you could throw it away.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean? Like, God didn't give you that ambition and that want and that drive so that you could push it to the side because people are going to think about you in a certain way. You know what I mean? Like,
I look at it like this. Is the dream to be a billionaire, or is the dream something that you like, whatever it took for you to get to be a billionaire?
I think
That's the question.
Yeah. I think it should be the latter.
If you dream no, you think it should be the
latter. No, the latter. Whatever you did to get that kabillion, right? Like, that should be the dream.
Okay,
the dream should be whatever you're doing
to
get that kabillion. Yeah.
So the life is, because like you say,
I don't want to ask God for $1 million. I want to ask God for a way that I can create value that would in turn make me $1 million. Like, give me a skill, a trade, an idea, right, that provides value in people's lives that would generate me $1 million.
See, but my thing is, $1 million is a very specific number,
right?
You want abundance. You want like
abundance. Give me. And honestly, the money. I wouldn't even ask for $1 million. I would ask for a way to be able to provide value, a skill that is needed in this world. Truly, I just pray for give me the strength and the wisdom to be able to do what you sent me here to do, right, in a way that pleases you.
Okay, so
that's honestly what I pray, because I don't. It changes from day to day what he want me to do and what I need to do and what may be my passion or my process.
And I feel like once you find that thing, right? I feel like once your puzzle fits into this thing the way that God's will wanted it to happen.
Yeah.
I feel like money no longer becomes an obstacle.
No,
I feel like
correct.
But there becomes a point where God gives you, and then there's like you got everything you need, and then there's a greedy like side.
That's when money becomes your God. That's when money becomes your God.
That's what I'm discussing.
Yeah,
and that's what I mean when I say. That's why I bring up the Cat Williams and Kevin Hart, not to go back to that shit, but it's just a prime example of when it's like, well, you niggas is rich. You niggas is rich. You know what I'm saying?
But I don't like to tell niggas how rich they should want to be.
No, but
or how rich they need to be, or
You
how much is
right,
enough.
but dig what I'm
Because ain't
saying.
nobody gonna tell me how much is enough. I don't give a fuck how much is in my
It's
bank.
too much once you want me to compromise. Once you want me
But
to
that's him
compromise
though.
my
If
art.
he's willing to compromise, like we're talking it from the standpoint of a fan, right? I want to continue to see what I want, but he's looking at it from the standpoint of this is
I'm
my
making
life.
$1 million, $1 billion.
This is my life, right?
Yeah,
so
I'm
if
making
somebody's
it and I
if
want
somebody's willing to give me
but
this
my
amount of
thing
money,
is-
I'm willing to do this amount of things for that.
Yes.
And I'm not saying I would do it, but he has a right to make that choice.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, but
And I'm not mad at him for making it.
and I'm not mad.
I
at
could
anybody.
either tune in or not, which I don't. Like now I know, right, that
Yeah.
at this point in his career, these are going to be more commercial. These movies are not for me.
At the same
They're
time,
for the
I'm
people
also,
who like to buy these commercialized movies.
And I'm
Which
not
is a
mad
lot of
at
niggas.
anybody who wants to point that out.
Right.
I'm not mad at, especially I'm not mad at a comedian who stuck to the the comedian shit. I'm definitely not mad at that person
Because I
for
can't speak to
pointing
the
out
comedian
fact that-
shit. You know what I mean? Like what it
especially
means
if
to
you
be a
ever
real
step
comedian
out
and all that
talked
other
about
shit.
an accolade that you had.
Right.
Like, because my thing is this. They call it selling out for a reason. What it should be a point. Like, nigga, it should be a point where you look at this shit and you just be like, damn, y'all want me to do that? Because
Yeah.
if a motherfucker wants you to, because compromising, I think that's something that a lot of people, I remember I worked at Apple, man, and the nigga, we was talking about the same shit. Some cat was like, man, if it was $1 million and they wanted you to do some gang shit, would you do it? And way less motherfuckers said no than I
Then you thought
expected.
it's like, hey
And I
man,
was
this
just
is
like,
a high
who's
possibility
raising
that y'all really
You
on
know
this
what I'm
gay
saying?
shit.
Like, who
Oh,
raised y'all?
Lord.
Like, it's some things that it's. There are opportunities that I may have missed out on because I wouldn't compromise certain things. Not on no gay shit or no shit like
Right.
that. But it's just I'm not I don't believe in telling on people. Like I'm a grown up. It's just it may be stupid to me. I mean, it may be to my
Dumb
detriment.
to other people, but yeah, it's something that you choose to live by. Yeah.
It's a thing that I've always grown up with, and I don't do it.
Right.
And it's been opportunities to where I know if I was like, oh, so and so do this, and so and so, and I see motherfuckers do it all the time, and I just be like, and I see them rise. You know what I'm saying? I see people act very not them. And don't get me wrong, we all got to do it.
But you can only act for so long. That's how
I'm
I
not
look
me
like
when
it in
I'm
my
at
book.
work.
Yeah.
I can't pretend like I'm a very mild version of me
Right.
when I'm at work.
Right.
I work at a place where
Yeah.
you got to be very mild.
You
know
gotta
what
be.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I see people take it to the extreme, and then I can't judge them because I'm like, nigga, if you're gonna be mild, you might as well just be all the way vanilla because
Yeah.
at least they're making more money, and that's the goal. But it's certain things that it's some shit that I just can't compromise. And once you meet a person like that won't compromise, to me, I feel like those are valuable people to be around because a person who will compromise themselves for money is a person who will get swallowed up by Diddy.
Let's see.
If you are willing to compromise yourself for if there's nothing in you that you be like, nah, I'm not doing that. There's some things I just won't do. And I don't care what the line is. Like now they trying to teach these young kids that snitching is a good thing. Why wouldn't you snitch? Woo. No, don't get me wrong.
I say it's like milk.
If it's somebody
Sometimes
that's
it's
dead
good for you,
and they
sometimes
talking
it's not
about
good for
giving
you.
20 years.
I'm sure in 20 years it'll be good for us again.
If the homie's dead, they got tell them the dead homie. Don't get me wrong. That nigga's not. They're not gonna put him in the jail burial, nigga. So, but telling like all this, there are things that we grew up on that it's a lot of reasons why old men were hard and strong and stuck to like I remember the 40, 50-year-old men that I grew up around when I was a kid and them niggas was 40, 50 years old. They different from the 40, 50-year-old men that I'm looking at now. But things are different. Times are different.
Yeah, I was
but,
a whole different generation.
but I definitely understand now now that we've
Yeah,
loosened the reins,
some
and see
things
what-
are taught through experience or
Yes.
learned through experience. But before we get up out of here, I'll always ask, as a conclusion, do you have any advice, words of wisdom, words of encouragement for the entrepreneurs, business people, all the fans? If you had to give them one tip, one trick, one word of advice, encouragement, what would it be?
I don't know. As somebody out here trying to get it like anybody else, all I can do is tell you what I've witnessed. I've witnessed two people grind and pull a business from beginning to end out the dirt, and that would be easy transportation. If you're sick, if you need to go to the doctors or anything like that, you need to hit up Easy Transportation. They're good people, but that's a shameless plug for my family. But I just want to
He's
say
a
this
shameless
about 'em.
plug.
I just want to say this about them, though. I've seen it start from the beginning, and to see where they are now is very encouraging. And one thing I can say is, it's not easy. It's not gonna happen today. There's ups, there's downs, but from what I've watched from the outside looking in, like if you, I used to tell my cousin all the time, like, man, I know this shit is hard right now, but when y'all toasted martinis and all that good shit on the yacht, man, and you know what I'm saying, it just takes time. You know what I'm saying? And that's the type of people I look like. I look forward to being on that yacht with their ass toasting with them one day. You know what I'm saying? And you got to start somewhere. And you know what I mean? Everybody got to take a leap. You're not going to do it at whatever job you're doing. I promise you that. If you work, if you work
Tell 'em
for
again.
somebody else, then they're never going to empower you to have your own. So if there's anything that you believe in yourself enough to try to make happen, then now's the time to try to get, like, I'm telling you, these kids is making millions of dollars playing video games. If you can't, man, if you can't try to figure it out somehow, some way, then like, it's a new day, man. You don't have to just get up and go to work every day. But if you happy going to work and you living and you good, I definitely don't look down on none of that. But if you if you have dreams of yachts and stuff like that and millions and kabillions, my I guess my one thing is, don't ever compromise. Don't ever compromise your heart. Don't ever compromise what's in your soul, and don't ever compromise your art. And that's all I got to say about that.
And that's how we do it. That's how we do it. This is Hype Review. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Again, like, comment, and subscribe. It's free. Take a couple seconds. It's
Man,
a click.
rock with us. Rock with us,
It's a
man.
click. It's a click. So like, comment, and subscribe.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Send it to your friends. Send it to your hide your kids, hide your wife. We coming for everybody. Thank y'all. I appreciate you. This is Dope for Life, and Hype Review is out.